Okay, I've had a lot of requests to record or show off my collection, and I decided to try to tackle that topic in a number of videos. This is going to be a bunch of videos, probably 7 or 8, because I'm going to do them like in 15-minute increments, try to keep it under 15 minutes. So I guess first off, let me tell you, I've got, statistically, I got like over 2,000 individual titles, and I've been collecting them back for 20 some years. I've got 2 pieces of software I use, DVD Collector and DVD Profiler. I'm type A about that, so I've got everything recorded. I know how many I have and how many, what I've paid for it. And I guess I will tell you, I've paid, if you look at the retail purchase price, I've spent $28,000 on my collection. And almost 70% of it's horror. Probably 1,500 of the titles are horror titles. So, all right, so the way I got it laid out, I'm going to show you the room real quick, and then we're going to start looking at, I have my stuff laid out kind of like by genre, or by director. So I've got like all my Hammer stuff together. I've got all the Japanese Godzilla stuff together. I've got, if it's European Giallo, I got that together. Comedies together, war together, westerns together, and then everything else, which is basically horror, is alphabetical. That's kind of how I got it laid out. All right, so let me show you. We'll go up to the man cave, and then we'll start. I think we're going to do the Godzilla Japanese section first. So let's go upstairs and we'll show you the room. Okay, so we're heading up to the room. I got a bunch of posters. King Kong, Sopranos, Hulk, all kinds of stuff up here. Let's show the Nosferatu. That's my Dawn of the Dead, Nosferatu. And then you've got, I've got a 3D 62-inch TV. I've got an Oppo all-region player. I've got a Samsung alternative player, and then I've got a pretty good stereo system. This section is all Japanese stuff and Godzilla, and then it starts alphabetical horror here. So we're going to do, I'm going to do this section first, and then move on to another section. Alright, so we're starting with the Japanese stuff. I've got Demajin. This is the trilogy. I love this. This is kind of a trilogy based on a warlord. It really is kind of like Jason and the Argonauts in Japanese, but it's a series of 3 films. I bought this probably 20 years ago, this box set of it, and then I recently double dipped and bought the Blu Ray combo on it. So that's Demajin. I've got Ultra Q, kind of a kid's Japanese kaiju, and I got Ultraman. I think you can pick these. These are like Mill Creek. You can pick these up for $5. I got Black Sun. This is more like war. This is really more of a war film, but I got it in the Japanese section. Black Sun, the Nanking Massacre, which is very gory and exploitation type stuff. Here's another exploitation film. This is The Men Behind the Sun. Same deal. These two films are based on real events that happened in World War II in China when the Japanese were occupying China and performing experiments on the Chinese. I've got Jigatu. I don't know how to pronounce that. Jigatu? Jigoku? It's been a while since I've watched it. It's a Criterion. It's been a while since I've watched that one. Then I've got this Eclipse box, When Horror Came to Shakichu. And this has, so this is When Horror Came to Shakichu. This is a 4-film set, Japanese film. Goki is in here, the vampire movie. It's a nice set. I don't know if it's out of print or not. You got X from Outer Space, Goki the Body Snatcher, The Living Skeleton, and Genocide. Then I got Ricky O, which is a crazy martial arts film. This came out on Blu Ray. I've had this for a long time. Then I've got 2 copies of, I don't know how I did put 2 copies of this, but I got the Toho collection of H-Man, Mothra, and Battle in Outer Space. I got 2 copies of this. And then I've got Hanzo the Razor, which is a martial arts film, series of films based on a guy that's got a, uses, besides using a, not a, what do you call it? A samurai. He's a samurai warrior, but he uses his penis as much as he uses the samurai sword. It's true.
Okay.
He's got a deadly penis. He does. Alright. Now we're on to Godzilla. And I think I have every Godzilla film other than Son of Godzilla. So we'll start with, it's in order. I've got 3 different versions of Godzilla. I've got this old classic media of Godzilla. This came out 20 some years ago. Then I think I bought this one when it came out. Godzilla. This is a nice edition too. And then of course I got the Criterions. The Criterion's the best release of this, I think. Godzilla. Criterion. Alright. Next up, Godzilla Raids Again. I got an old snapper case of King Kong versus Godzilla. There's that one. And then I got a Japanese, this is a Japanese edition of Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla. I think I got this because it was uncut. Pretty sure that's why I bought that. Godzilla versus Mothra. And yeah, I've watched all these. If they're in this section here, I've watched them all. Mothra versus Godzilla. This is another edition. This is the better edition of it. This is actually Godzilla versus the Thing is the alternative U.S. title. I actually think this is the best Godzilla film in the 60s. Then I've got Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster. I think you can still pick these up. I've got Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. This is an old DVD release. Came out probably 20 years ago. And then I've got the same version, Godzilla, or the Astro Monster. It's Godzilla versus Monster Zero. Alright. Then I have the Blu Ray of Death Kappa, which was total shit. This is crap. I hated this. Alright, back to Godzilla. Let's see. Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. Blu Ray. Here's an old DVD of Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. I probably ought to get rid of all these duplicate titles. Then I got an old DVD that came out 20 some years ago, Destroy All Monsters. This is probably my second favorite Godzilla. And then I got the Blu Ray Destroy All Monsters. There's that one. All Monsters Attack. This is Godzilla's Revenge. This is when they really started taking Godzilla into the kitty movie realm. Here's another old DVD of Godzilla's Revenge. And then I think it skips. I think Son of Godzilla's next. I don't have that one. This is Godzilla versus Hedorah. I saw this in the theater when I was a kid. Alright.
More Godzilla?
More Godzilla. This is Godzilla versus the Smog Monster on Blu Ray. This is one of my favorites. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I think this is like, this DVD is probably like 50, 60 bucks. This DVD right here is out of print. Then I've got Terror of Mechagodzilla, which I think is kind of a fan favorite. I think this is one that everybody seems to like. I've got Terror of Mechagodzilla, this re-release. These are nice. Then I've got Godzilla. This is Godzilla versus Ballante. Well, that's in there. This is a Japanese or an Asian release of the Godzilla versus Ballante. This is Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. Yeah, they made 30 some Godzilla films. So this is Godzilla versus Gigan. This is when they started having money troubles and it looked really cheap, the special effects. And then here's a remake. This is the remake of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. This is when they started rebooting all those. Alright, let me put these back. Alright, so we're on to row 2. I've got, this is another Asian release. This was before the Blu Ray came out. This is The Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla 1984. And then I got the Godzilla vs. Gigan Blu Ray. Actually, these are not in the order I thought they were going to be. This is Godzilla vs. Megalon. Then I got Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. So this is a double feature, Godzilla vs. Destroyer and Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla.
Space Godzilla.
Space Godzilla, yeah. Pretty good. And then I got a Blu Ray double feature, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 and Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Right there. Then I got the Blu Ray of Godzilla 1984. Then I got the crappy, who is that guy that plays in that? He's married to the house, I'm having a memory blank. This is the terrible remake of Godzilla. It has,
Let me see.
He's married to your favorite actress. Who is that?
I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, Matthew Broderick.
Matthew
He's married
Broderick.
to Sarah Jessica.
I've tried to block this one out of my mind. It's a terrible Godzilla movie. Here's Godzilla 2000. I actually bought this from Blockbuster. It's still got the Blockbuster
gosh.
tag on it. That's how old this is. Probably 20-some years old. Then I've got Godzilla Giant Monsters All Attack. We're getting to the end of Godzilla here. Godzilla Tokyo SOS. There's a lot of Godzilla movies.
I see that.
Another copy. I got 2 copies of this. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Then I got a double feature, Godzilla vs. Destroyer and Megaguirus. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and Godzilla vs. Mothra. And then I got the Blu Ray of it. Well, a lot of those DVDs I bought 20 years ago, so I don't know. It's a sickness. Godzilla Final Wars. All these DVDs I've had for at least 10, 20 years. And then the new Godzilla in 3D, which I really liked. King Kong Escapes. I grew up I loved this when I was a little kid. Loved that one. And this is Half Human. It's an old kind of a guy in a gorilla suit Asian film. Half Human. Then I got Varan, the Unbelievable. I actually had Varan on a Super 8 when I was 7 years old. It was like a 5-minute version of it. Now this is a martial arts film. A lot of people talk about it. It's very gory and action-oriented. Versus. Very entertaining. Now we're getting into Gamera, the flying turtle. Gamera the giant monster. These Shout Factory releases are really nice. Look at that. Gamera Baragon. I'm sure most of you guys have these. There's a double feature, Gamera Giron and Jigger. One of these has it's Giron has a little, his head's shaped like a machete. He chops up the turtle with it. Gamera Gaios and Gamera Virus. Then I've got, so now we're on the row 3. And we're coming to an end of the video here. Let's see. Gamera Revenge of Iris. Whoops. Still recording?
Yeah.
Gamera Revenge of Iris. This is Gamera Guardian of the Universe and Gamera 2 Attack of Legion Blu Ray. Terror Beneath the Sea with Sonny Chiba. This is a real schlocky kind of it's just a schlocky movie. Frankenstein Conquers the World. Old DVD of that. I suspect that's a lot of these Tokyo Shock releases. Rodan. Old DVD of Rodan. And here's the, I think this is the Media Blasters release of Rodan and War of the Gargantuas. War of the Gargantuas is a fantastic film. Okay. Uh-oh, here's Gamera again. Gamera versus Zegra, and Super Monster. Okay. This is Yongari and Conga double feature. Conga's not really an Asian film, but I threw it in there anyway. Mothra 1 and 2 remakes. Neptune Man, oh man, these are really bad movies. They're so bad they're good. Prince of Space and Neptune Men. Little guys with little washer bowls on their helmet for helmets, and then they got little. It's hilarious. Now we're getting into some vampire film, Asian vampire films. This is a trilogy that I bought, and I bought the Asian releases of these. This is, I think, Evil of Dracula. I mean, these don't even have the American titles on it, but basically these are the three vampire films. It's a trilogy of vampire films. Evil, the Vampire, I don't even remember the titles of these things. But they're actually very good. I've watched them multiple times. Then I've got Something Weird Videos releases of Starman. Here's the two Starman releases. These are ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Hilarious. Then I've got a DVD of I didn't know I had this. The Mysterians. A DVD release of that. Forgot I had that. Then I got Matango, which is Killer Mushrooms. There's a bunch of Asian films where there's plants on the rampage. Here's a space amoeba, like a killer octopus. I think these are very expensive. They're hard to find. And that gets, now I'm getting into the alphabetical horror. Let me go ahead and just do those while I'm here. Altered, kind of a Blair Witch ripoff. It sucked. Altitude. This is basically monster. It terrorizes these people on a plane that suck. Andy Kaplan, which is a gore revenge film, which is real entertaining. This is a good film. Attack of the Werewolves. It sucked. Sucked bad. Look at that lenticular cover, though. See this? Can you see? Is it? Mm-hmm. Then I got an old DVD of My Bloody Valentine on April Fool's Day. And that will finish up that section. So we'll wrap it up right there, I think.